welcome to the Continual Growth Podcast, where every week we bring you tips and tricks on how to kill every day and own your fucking life. I'm your host, I'm Bawanka. It's episode 48, and you know it's time to bring that hot fire. I'm joined by my co-host, Stir, aka Sturminator, aka Stirrific, aka you guys are probably coming up with some Stir nicknames. It's time to get it poppin'. Stir, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing, man. Let's bring that heat. I'm excited for today's episode, man. Let's get it popping.
Okay, let's jump right into it. So, today it's all about comfort zones, getting out of your comfort zones, and I love getting out of my comfort zone.
That's a good one, man. And I know you do it. When I think about comfort zones, there's two things that come to mind. Fear and change.
Okay.
So I really want to dive into both of these topics and comfort zones in general. I know that ever since I've known you, you're probably the best example for me in terms of someone who's come out of their comfort zone continuously. And whether it's now you speak all the time on our podcast in front of people, you've done so much in terms of exploring other areas that you're not familiar with, to familiarize yourself with, and that's getting out of your comfort zone. That's all challenge. It's change in that. There's a lot of fear involved in that. So today, I want you to take the people through your journey of fear and change when it comes to getting out of your comfort zone. So number one, what is the first thing you think about when you hear the words comfort zones?
Okay. Well, first thing I want to say, thanks for recognizing that and acknowledging 100%. That. It means a lot to me. But when I think of comfort zone, I think of this is where you want to be. This is where it's easy. You don't have to try when you're in this place, when you're in the comfort zone. But every step out becomes more scary. It's more fear starts to come in. And the bigger the leap is, the bigger the reward is going to be. But the harder it is to take that leap just because there's so much more fear involved in it.
But what even takes you to that point where you're like, okay, I'm going to deal with the fear of trying to get out of my comfort zone?
Because you want what's on the other side of it.
Okay.
It's like let's just take probably a lot of people have probably seen that video of Will Smith put it up, and it's people jumping into the water, right? Yeah. And the reason that they want to jump is because it feels good. When you're in the air and you got nothing holding you, it's like you're flying. It feels good when you're in the air and you're getting over your fear, right? Yeah. But it's scary to do because you haven't done it before.
That's true.
But if you do it the first time, it's gonna be easier. The second time, the third time is gonna be even easier. And every single time you keep doing it gets easy. And if you do it enough times, it becomes normal.
And I think that's an amazing point. I think what happens when you keep putting things off, it starts to happen the other way. So when you keep putting things off over and over and over, that's why it's so hard to change. There's more to let go of.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You let all these things stack up, and then it's by the time you're a little bit older, you just don't have that in you. You don't have the fight to let go of all the comfort that you've been building up all this time. So, okay, we talked a little bit about that part in terms of change. I want you to talk more a little bit about some of the things that you've dealt with that you notice okay, this is me getting out of my comfort zone, or even things that you have to deal with to help you get out of your comfort zone.
Okay, so I think I've been working on getting out of my comfort zone for a while, man. Since I even started my personal development journey. But once I started my personal development journey and once I understood fear, so I read this book, right? It's called The 5 Fear Truths. It's by Susan, I'm pretty sure her name's Susan Jeffers.
Okay.
No, it's called Fear. Is it Feel the Fear, Do It Anyways?
Oh yeah, that is Susan Jeffers.
Feel the fear, do it anyways. But the main thing I took from it was the 5 fear truths. And when I understood because I used to be someone who was I'm not scared. I just don't want to do it. I'm not scared. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you actually realize that you're scared, and then you come to terms with that, and you're the only way for me not to be scared is for me to go and take action on this. Then that's when it becomes easy to not easy, but it becomes easier to start stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it's when fear comes, So also like another like chapter 16, the 10x rule, Grant Cardone.
That's one of my favorite
Man,
chapters on
yeah,
fear.
yo, this chapter took me to a whole nother level because Grant Cardone, like he talks about fear and he says like the longer you wait, the harder it's gonna become. Like so if he's talking about like in sales industry, so you gotta get on the phone and you gotta make calls.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying like if you don't get on the phone and start making those calls and start letting people say no to you because that's what you're worried about.
Right.
If you just wait and you're like, oh, let me go, let me do something, let's send some emails, let me go to the cool water cooler, talk to some friends, and just basically just doing things to waste time. The longer you waste the time, the harder it is, as opposed to if you just go and just do it right away. And when it comes to, so like me and you, we go swimming every week.
Right.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but every single time I go in the water, I dive in head first, always. I never touch the water, nothing.
Yeah.
But I used to always be someone who would walk up to the water,
try to
get
get like
touch my feet in it, be like, oh damn, it's cold. And then I would like, like put my, going like halfway, be like, damn, it's cold.
So now I love that now you're eliminating time out of the equation.
Yeah,
so that you can get right to
yo, if you just dive in and you swim to there and swim back, you're warm. Like you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And the whole time you could just be touching your toes and be like, oh, it's cold. But nah, man, it becomes like so much more powerful when you're just like, I'm going all in, just head first, and you just dive into whatever it is that there is.
Yeah, that example, it reminds me of something that happened to me last summer. And it's after I read the book, the 10X Factor, and that chapter was incredible, the one on fear. It talks about what you just said, eliminating time out of the equation. So what happened to me last summer is I was here visiting you, and I was also here to see my family in Ottawa. So before I got to Ottawa, I remember my mom calling me and saying, oh, someone left a message for you, and it was from, I think like National Student Loans.
Yeah.
So right away in my head, the first thoughts in my head, I'm like, damn, I probably owe the money, I missed the payment, you know what I mean? Something negative. And I was like, I told her, I'm like, you know what, I'll listen to the answering machine when I get there, and it was like I was getting there the next day, and I'll call them later. I get there, didn't even want to listen to it, because in my mind it was the same, those thoughts of fear, like, man, I probably owe them something back. And I waited like 2 days, and it was like a gut feeling, something in me that was like, yo, just make the call.
Yeah.
I called them, fearful as hell, and they were just trying to sell me something.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I laughed. I remember picking up the phone, calling them back and laughing like, wow. And then I remembered what he said in that chapter about eliminating time out of the equation, so you want to get the no or the negative. Imagine it was something negative and they were like, oh, you owe this much. At least I know now, instead of weeks down the road when maybe something else happened. Maybe I get into an accident in my car, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So allowing things to build up is always worse. So that's why I like that point and the story you shared. So, okay, tell us a little bit more about some of the situations that you ran into and you realized that, either getting out of your comfort zone was necessary, or even just like, what made you now, because now I look at you, I just told everybody how, maybe I didn't, but you were never this kind of person.
Yeah.
Like whenever we went to hangouts with our friends or any events, if we ever did anything like that, you were not the person who was going out and socializing with people.
Yeah.
So why is that something now that you do all the time? You wake up and go for a run. That's getting out of your comfort zone every single morning, right?
4:40. I hate running.
That's what I'm saying. So what was the one thing that really like sparked you and the reason why you continue to do this now every day?
Honestly, man, it's no joke. It was that book that I read, the Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways. And they have the 5 fear truths. I'm gonna try and go through
I was gonna say, can you
I don't know
recite a few of them?
I don't know if I got all of them, but the first one is like the first one is feel the fear, do it anyways. I don't have the.
It's all good. We gotta recommend it to people, because I know you had it on your wall.
Yeah.
And these are powerful. This is something that I think it's a great takeaway for a lot of people to kind of.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, you remember them?
I got it.
Here it goes.
Okay, the fear will never go away as long as I continue to grow.
Okay.
And that just means like every single time, so you grow, you're getting out of your comfort zone, but then something harder is gonna come and you have to handle that also.
Yeah, that's why I think changing is a big part of embracing change is a big part of getting out of your comfort zone, because you have to be able to understand that, like, this is maybe off on a tangent a little bit, but our world is evolving and changing so much. Like, jobs are being lost, all these things are happening. So as an individual, you have to focus on being able to evolve and change with the times so that you don't deal with these things, these obstacles that come in and, you know, they derail you, and then you're just like, oh, I'm too scared to do this, or, you know, because you've never been in any kind of situation similar to that. So change, embracing change, evolving, understanding that you have to continue to learn.
Yeah.
That's why we're all about continual growth, right? It's every day just trying to be a better version of yourself. So,
Okay.
you remember any of the other fears, or you want to move on to?
Fear will never go away as long as I continue to grow. The only way, I don't got it, man. Let's just move on. We'll post them up. We'll post them
Yeah,
in the 5
'cause those are important.
issues later, but I'm not gonna bring them up. But what I will talk about is like, so I would read these and every single time I read them, I start understanding more. Like, you have to, you can't run from the fear. You have to step into the fear. So what I started doing was like the ice plunge, the cold water. Finish the shower with 1 minute of cold at the end of the shower. And I started doing that, and I did it. I've done it for probably like a year now. But lately, probably like 2 months ago, I was listening to a podcast when I was working out. It was with Aubrey Marcus, and what he was talking about was like he takes a full cold plunge
For the
whole entire shower,
Wow.
and he does that all the time. And I'm like, damn, man, like that's for sure that is gonna help with getting out of your comfort zone, because it's very uncomfortable. And if you can do that every day or 4 times a week, or like if you can just make yourself, the more you can make yourself uncomfortable, the easier things are gonna be when those uncomfortable situations come up.
Exactly.
So what I started doing was like, I'm like, okay, I can commit to having a full cold shower after I work out. Like, I'm not doing it all the time, but after I work out, I'll do that.
So have you tried that?
Yeah, I do it all the time. For like the last 2 months.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It sucks. Honestly, it sucks getting into it, but it's you just realize after like 5 seconds of being in there that this is actually not that bad. Once you get like your whole body is wet, you're like, okay, this is not that bad.
And that, I like that. That simple example right there of 5 seconds of suffering and everything. I mean, most things are harder before they get easier.
100%.
That's just, you know what I mean? Even like we like to talk about habits a lot at Continual Growth. Same thing. Bad habits, very easy to form, but hard to live with.
Yeah.
Good habits, very hard to form, but easy to live with.
Yeah.
So give yourself that perspective when you're looking at anything that deals with growing or getting out of your comfort zone or change. It's gonna, understand that right now in the moment might not be the best. It's gonna suck for those 5 seconds, but down the road, or not even, a few seconds later, it's gonna start to feel better. And down the road, the benefits that that's gonna give you, you can't even, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
can't even imagine it. So,
Okay, let me just cut in here real quick. So anybody, if you're liking this, if you're getting value from this, all we ask is that you please subscribe, because that's gonna help us a lot and back into it. So one of the other things that I really noticed like comfort zone for me was when I started working on my speaking. So I started working on my speaking 2, maybe 3 years ago, and it just started with me just talking to my phone, and I was doing it in my house. But I'm like, okay, this is too easy, right?
Yeah.
Let me make it harder. Let me go outside and talk, because I know that I didn't like talking around people.
okay.
So I started doing them videos on my phone around people. And I remember there was a time where like I wasn't able to talk. I just stopped, like it just froze up and I wasn't able to talk. And I'm like, fuck, man, this is terrible. And it was just because there was a lot of people around me. It was like a rush hour time, like, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I can either stop and just keep doing it in my house, or I can just go back to the streets. And at this time, I used to wear like my big headphones. It was winter, so I had like my hood up, lots of fur everywhere. Like, it's like really protective and comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So what I committed to was like, no more headphones, no more hood, and always walk in the busiest areas.
Okay. Wow.
So,
So you were setting yourself up to get into this.
So I'm like, yeah, like if you want to be like, you want to be great at this, you have to set yourself up to do things that are difficult for you. And from there, now I can be anywhere and talk on camera in front of people. It's like, and it's become a lot easier for me. It's not like really easy. No, I never get nervous or anything, but
Yeah.
it's become so much easier, and it's because like I was ready to get out of my comfort zone. I worked every single day to get out of my comfort zone, and now my comfort zone is just way bigger.
And you know, a big part of it is like we keep mentioning things like physical things, like ice plunge or going to speak in front of people. These are things that are happening and you can see them happen. But a big part, I think, of working on getting out of your comfort zone and just embracing change, it happens mentally. So you did all these things, you recorded yourself several times, and then it got into your mind to not to worry about what other people think, right? Because we worry about the wrong things. We worry about things that already happened or haven't even happened. And this happens a lot when we're faced with change or when we're fearful of something. We start thinking like, oh, this person's gonna think this way or this, and that blocks us. That blocks us from going forward. So I think in that process of going out and being and feeling uncomfortable, it helps. It works your mind too. You start getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I know you talked about like the physicality of it, but I think that's very important. And so one of the things, like when I used to work out just for like, I just wanted to look good. Mm-hmm. That was it. And then I started understanding about comfort zone, pain, and how all that stuff can help you grow so much. Like through pain, you will grow. So I've changed the way I work out and what I work out for. And now I work out like for pain.
Yeah.
Like not like I don't want my joints and stuff to hurt, but I wanna push myself to like every day I wanna push myself more than I did yesterday.
Yeah.
Every Monday you come running with me on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But on Monday, it's the first day of the week, it's fucking 5:45, like 5:50 in the morning, we're outside running, and it's Monday and that's test day.
What's test day?
So on test day, we have like a route, but basically we run by where Carlito used to live. Shout outs to Carlito.
Carlito!
He's the fitness guru.
Yeah.
So we run by where Carlito used to live, and right when we get there, it's like, yo, I look at Mikey, I'm like, man, it's showtime, and I'm gone. Like I'm going
out.
Yeah, I'm going like as fast as I can, as hard as I can, and like your lungs start to just die, like they just start burning. And there's one part where I get to, and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I want to stop. And at that point, I'm like, yo, I have to go even faster. And I push like, yo, I never was able to do this when I was younger, and I used to run a lot when I was younger. But I don't know what switched, but when I get to that point, I'm still able to go faster. My lungs are killing, but I don't care because I'm like, yo, push harder, push through the pain, and then when all those challenges in life come, it becomes so easy to just step into them, push through them, and like you have to test yourself.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, now that you just shared that story, I do remember actually doing one test day with you guys, and I remember asking you like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, why? And you kind of just explained that, but still, maybe to further on that, like, why test day, and why is that something that people need to understand and do? Maybe not necessarily go for a run and sprint, but in other aspects.
Because every single other day we're running and then we're going to the gym, right? But it's just comfortable. We're running at our pace. It's comfortable. So
there's no change. Really
yeah. So the test day is about like, let's go. Let's get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Move as fast as you can, and then when you get there, go even faster.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, man. That's crazy.
And that's what test day is all about. But
what did you say? You said something. Pain, grow through the. What did you say? There's something you said. Pain.
Through pain, you will grow.
Like take notes, man. That's a good one.
The pain does not feel good, but I promise you, every time if you look back on your pain, you grew through it.
Yeah.
You grew through it. Like just allow yourself. Don't run from the pain, man. You gotta step into it.
Grow through it, man. I love that. That's a take notes right there one for you guys.
Mm-hmm. And we always talk about like 21s, you know, getting out of your comfort zone, building habits. Yeah. And one of the 21s that I did, this was probably one of the most impactful, most difficult. It was one of the best 21s that I ever did, and it was every single day get out of your comfort zone.
Holy. Yeah. So what does that even look like? Because I'm thinking about my life, you know, and I'm sure most people will resonate. Like every day for me, I'm not gonna lie, it's not like, oh, I'm doing something that's out of my comfort zone, right? I'm following a routine that feels pretty good. Yeah. You know, I've added really good habits and all these things, but it's not like I'm going out there and. Okay. So like, what does that feel like? What does that feel like?
This is what it's like. There's that voice in the back of your head. I don't know if your voice is like my voice, but my voice always like like you walk around and the voice tells you like, oh, what would it be like if you did this?
Yeah, I don't have that voice yet, but I need to get that voice.
And then you have to do it like your voice says like, yo, what would it be like if you did this? And the other voice says, you can't do that, man.
It's like the devil on the shoulder.
Yeah, so when that voice comes, you have to just be like, fuck it, I'm getting out of my comfort zone, I'm gonna go do it. And you only have 5 seconds. If you wait longer than 5 seconds and if you hesitate on it,
you're most likely not going to.
It's not gonna happen. You gotta act on it right away and you just gotta push yourself. It's not easy. I'm not gonna lie and say, it's easy. This is something that's very difficult, but the more you can do it, and that's why we got Try a Thing Tuesday.
Yeah.
So if this is difficult for you, every day is hard. It took me a long time to get there.
Yeah.
But if you just every Tuesday, you just remember it's Try a Thing Tuesday. I'm gonna try something. When the opportunity comes, I promise, every fucking Tuesday an opportunity will come. If you pay attention, that opportunity will come, and you just have to be ready to capitalize on it and just say yes.
Yeah.
Say yes, or even better, don't even say yes, just do it.
Yeah, and I think one thing to take away from this too, there's been lots of things, but is just what it does for you when you get out of your comfort zone. The amount of confidence that you build from doing something that you once were unable to do or once looked at and you were just like, I'm never going to be able to do that. For me, it was swimming. But just the level of confidence it gives you to moving forward. And then, like you said, when you get to a point in your life when you're stuck or you hit rock bottom or something, you can look back and remember on, we talked about this on one of our episodes before, milestones, right? You can look back at some of the things that you've accomplished, recognize them and understand that, man, I once had to struggle through whatever it was, and then I made it out. So why can't I do that again? So it's almost a source of inspiration when you continue to get out of your comfort zone and start almost like defying the odds. You know what I mean? You're like doing what everyone, and this is kind of like what you were saying about the voice in your head. For me, something that I would like to adopt is almost like a me against the world mentality, where it's like, because no one's gonna do it for you, right? It's you versus you. But I kind of use that second you as the world, and it's just like me going after whatever the world has to offer. Now my goal is to beat it, to win. I don't want to be, the last man on the ground or whatever. I want to be the last man standing. So I think when we talk about comfort zone, there's so many different ways to go about it. We talked a lot about fear and change. So I mean, what's one other thing that I think, or another story you want to share with the people that talks about the comfort zone and how you have to deal with it?
I think like the best one would probably be like when I was working on the rigs.
Okay.
So when you're working on the rigs, there's a job that you have to do that's 30 meters in the air.
Yeah.
30 meters in the air, and you're basically walking on these small ledges that are like
30 meters in the air. That's like what, 3 stories? Or a building? I'm trying to give people context.
3 stories.
Yeah,
it's like 3 stories, maybe higher.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
probably like that.
Okay.
It's
pretty high.
Yeah.
It's decently high. Yeah.
So anyways, it's probably way higher than, it's probably like 5 or 6 stories.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're up there and you have a cable on you, but it's just, you're so high.
So
like you look down and the people are like, you can barely
like
see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And your foot could easily slip and go through. You're not gonna fall all the way through. You're just gonna fall down. Like you're gonna fall and get caught on something.
Yeah.
But
That's still scary.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm up there and there's this guy and he didn't have the rope that I had. I had his rope because only one person's supposed to be up there.
Okay.
And I'm like fucking holding on to stuff and like trying to keep myself safe, right? And he's just chilling up there and he was smoking too at the same time. He's up there and he's smoking and he's like, man, like I used to be terrified to come up here. Like this was the biggest fear of my life. But look at me now. And he started fucking dancing on these little ledges. He starts dancing on these ledges. Like, look at me now. I'm not scared at all. I'm like, damn. And it's just because he did it so many times. He got out of his comfort zone so many times, and it became the norm. And every time I went up after the first time, it was less scary. And there was times where I would chill up there for like 5 or 6 hours. But that was one time where it was like, yo, you're getting out of your comfort zone. You're going to do something that like I don't think I'll ever experience anything like that ever again.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, one last thing I wanted to share on my part is, this was a good episode. We talked about a lot of things, but one thing, we kept talking about fear and change. If there's anything to fear when it comes to getting out of your comfort zone, anything at all, it's the fear of not being able to change, not being able to evolve. Because you don't want to be, like I started looking at my life more with a long perspective view, because I try to ask myself, like, I know that in 1 week from now, even 1 month from now, not much is going to change, no matter what I do. But 1 year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, I know so much can change, and it's very circumstantial, right? It's like, what do I do today? What do I keep doing moving forward until year 1, year 2, year 3? And if I can't change, because I know I'm not the person I want to be. I know, like, there's so many places I'm trying to get to still. But if I fail to change, and I'm constantly scared, fearful of this change, then I'm not going to get there. I'm going to be the same person. That's what people should be fearful of more than anything.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me try out these fear truths again. Okay. The fear will never go away as long as I continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to feel better about myself is to go out and do it.
Yep.
Not only am I going to experience fear when I'm in unfamiliar territories, so is everyone else. Pushing through fear is less frightening than living with the underlying fear of helplessness.
Okay.
I might have messed that one up. So find fear, hunt it down, look it in the eyes, and say, fuck you.
Yo, that was great. That's hot fire. You know what's even more impressive? I gotta say this to the people that maybe aren't seeing this and they're just listening to this. Through this podcast, Wonka was writing these down. He was remembering them and writing them down on paper so that he could recite them to you guys. That's incredible, man. That's pretty impressive.
Much respect. Much respect.
That's unbelievable.
Okay, so I hope everybody liked this episode. It was all about comfort zone, all about fear, and trust me, the only way this fear is gonna go away is if you go out and do that thing that scares you. Like, you have to go out and you have to do it, and then you have to do it again and again and again, and get to that point where it no longer scares you, and then you gotta find something else that scares you.
Yeah, man. A shout out to I think they're the Yes Theory guys, right? Seek discomfort, man. They know about getting out of their comfort zone. So just watch some of their stuff on YouTube. It's incredible. Obviously, Will Smith, Wonka referred to one of his videos. He's a big inspiration to us too. So yeah, big shout out to those guys.
So if you enjoyed this podcast, we already got you, subscribe. But more importantly, give us a ratings. We love them 5 stars. Give us a review. We love that too. But tell a friend about it. Tell a friend if this is helping you. Go out, tell your friend, and let them know that we're here. We're trying to help people grow, and we all just want to grow together. Other than that, we got our next growth talk coming up. It's gonna be on December 19th. December 19th is a Wednesday, so get your tickets, get them early. You can get them at eventbrite.ca or .com.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll be advertising it on our social media too, on Instagram, so look out for that.
And other than that, kill every day and own your fucking life. Bless up!
Yeah, man.
Yo, Jaff. Yo, I pressed record again and it's blinking. What's good?